He smiled as he gave up. The man who built a career on never giving up tapped out with a smile on his face and walked away from the ring forever. After 23 years of telling the world to hustle, loyalty, and respect, after telling millions never to quit, John Cena quit. And if that doesn't send chills down your spine, if that doesn't make you want to know what happens next, then you don't have a pulse. What you're about to hear changed everything we thought we knew about the greatest sports entertainer of our generation. This is his first interview since that final bell rang, and I promise you, nothing will ever be the same. Before we dive deep into one of the most emotional moments in WWE history, I need you to do something for me. If you've ever felt something because of John Cena, if you've ever cheered for him, booed him, or felt anything because of what that man did in that ring, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the SLAMZONE family because we're about to break down the most powerful retirement story professional wrestling has ever seen, and you don't want to miss a single second of what's coming. Hit that notification bell too, because when I tell you this story gets deeper and more emotional than anything you've imagined, I mean it with every fiber of my being. December 13th, 2025. Saturday night's main event. John Cena vs. Gunther. The final match. Can you even wrap your mind around those words? The final match. 23 years of blood, sweat, tears, championships, moments that defined childhoods, moments that made grown adults cry, all coming down to one night in Washington, D.C. against the ring general himself. The building was packed beyond capacity. They literally had to move the side ramps just to fit more seats. Fire hazard level packed. You couldn't squeeze one more person into that arena if you tried. Every single soul in that building knew they were witnessing history, and the electricity in the air was something you could taste. When Cena looked out at that crowd, he envisioned something beautiful, but he said Saturday far exceeded whatever was in his heart and soul. Think about that. This is a man who has stood in front of hundreds of thousands of people, who has main event WrestleMania multiple times, who has been cheered and booed by millions worldwide, and this night exceeded everything he had ever imagined. The people who loved him were in the front row. His colleagues, his brothers, and sisters from the locker room, were watching on monitors in the back. Everyone was there to say goodbye to a legend. But here's where the story takes a turn that nobody expected. Gunther, the man who had been nearly unstoppable for months, the ring general who commanded respect with every chop, every submission, every calculated move, he had the crowd against him. They hated him that night. Not because he was doing anything wrong, but because they loved Cena. For the last 5 minutes of that match, everything Cena preached about story and drama and having a conversation with the audience came together. They were universal in their support. No mixed reactions. No dueling chants. Just pure love and pure heartbreak as they watched their hero struggle. And then it happened. Gunther locked in that sleeper hold. That devastating, career-ending sleeper hold. Cena struggled. He fought. You could see the determination in his eyes, the same fire that had carried him through 2 decades of battles. But something was different. They were just in a sleeper hold, but they were having that conversation with the audience, and as Cena essentially took his last breath, he struggled just like someone facing the end of their life. The comparison he made wasn't about wrestling. It was about mortality. It was about acceptance. It was about grace in the face of the inevitable. Picture this moment. Your hero, the man who taught you never to give up, is fading. His arm is going limp. The referee is checking. The crowd is pleading. And then you see it. That smile. That peaceful, accepting, beautiful smile spreading across John Cena's face as his hand taps the mat. Once, twice, 3 times. The bell rings. It's over. Not just the match. Not just the night. Everything. 23 years of John Cena as an active WWE superstar, done. Finished. Complete. The reaction was immediate and it was split. Some fans understood the poetry of it. Others felt betrayed. How could the man who told us never to give up just tap out? How could he smile while doing it? But here's what makes this story so incredibly powerful. Cena described himself going peacefully, just like Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars, facing death with a smile, knowing they were in a good place and would be great going forward. This wasn't weakness. This was the ultimate strength. The strength to know when your time has come and to embrace it with dignity and grace. Days later, Cody Rhodes sat down with John Cena at the Nightmare Factory for What Do You Want to Talk About? This was it. The first time John Cena would speak publicly since hanging up his boots. The first time he would explain what that smile meant. The first time he would open up about the most controversial decision of his legendary career. And what came out of his mouth was nothing short of revelatory. It was raw. It was honest. It was everything we needed to hear and more than we expected. Cena opened up about the entire retirement tour in a way that will change how you look at his final year. He described his entire WWE farewell tour as the cycle of someone facing the end of their life. Every match, every moment, every victory and every loss was part of this grand narrative about mortality, about legacy, about what it means to truly let go. Think about the weight of that. Every time you saw John Cena in that ring this year, he was telling you a story about endings, about acceptance, about how the greatest among us eventually have to pass the torch. But it goes deeper than that. Way deeper. Cena admitted he did not wish to leave WWE with a perfect record, and his retirement storyline was about taking risks, purposely testing the waters and trying to fail just so he could prove a point. Let that sink in. This man was desperately trying to fail on his way out the door. Why? Because he wanted to teach the next generation something invaluable. He wanted to show them that taking risks, even when you might fall flat on your face, is what artistry is all about. It's what professional wrestling is about. It's what life is about. That heel turn at Elimination Chamber. Remember that? When Cena attacked Cody Rhodes out of nowhere and shocked the world? The match at WrestleMania that followed was criticized heavily, but Cena wasn't going to do the easy thing and wanted to paint a different picture. He became WWE Champion for the 17th time by defeating the man sitting across from him, Cody Rhodes, in the main event of WrestleMania 41. It was polarizing, it was controversial, and it was exactly what Cena wanted. He wanted to prove that even at this stage, even on the way out, he could still take big swings and try something different. You know what that takes? Courage. Real courage. Not the scripted kind. Not the kind you fake for the cameras. The kind where you risk your legacy, your reputation, everything you've built, just to make a point about artistic integrity and creative bravery. Cena even accepted the failures that came along during his retirement year, defending them by pointing out it was not a sign of weakness but was leadership by example. Everything he did was criticized at a surgical level. Every move was picked apart. Every decision was questioned. And he kept going anyway. If you're loving this breakdown, if you're feeling what I'm feeling right here right now, I need you to smash that like button. Share this video with someone who grew up watching John Cena. Share it with someone who doesn't understand why this retirement hit so hard. Because we're not just talking about wrestling here. We're talking about life lessons from a man who gave everything to this business and is now teaching us how to leave with grace. Comment below and tell me your favorite John Cena memory. Tell me where you were when you first saw him. Tell me what his career meant to you. The SLAMZONE family wants to hear your story. Now, let's talk about Cody Rhodes for a moment. Because this interview wasn't just about John Cena. It was about the relationship between two generations. When the retired star thanked the American Nightmare, Rhodes initially refused to accept it, but Cena stated he needed to be better with his words of affirmation. Cena thanked Cody for his work ethic, noting it was aspirational and that there were times when Rhodes goes harder than Cena could imagine. This is massive. This is John Cena, the hardest worker in WWE history, saying someone works harder than he can imagine. John shared that for many years it felt like he was running a one-man show, but that changed with Rhodes, adding that Cody is responsible for more than himself as a family man, juggling a lot more than Cena could imagine. These words hit different. They hit with the weight of respect earned through years of watching someone carry the company on their shoulders. Cena was alone at the top for so long. He was the guy. The only guy. And then Cody came back to WWE and showed him that the business he loved had a future beyond him. That someone else could carry that weight. That legacy could be passed on to worthy hands. And Cody felt it. Rhodes grew emotional at Saturday night's main event, staying back for a few moments staring at the sneakers and armbands the Cenation leader left inside the ring. Picture that scene. The show is over. The crowd has gone home. The cameras are still rolling. And there's Cody Rhodes, the current undisputed WWE champion, staring at the physical remains of a legend's career. The shoes. The armbands. The symbols of everything John Cena was. Just sitting there in the middle of the ring like a shrine. In the closing moments of the show, John was joined outside by the rest of the locker room, with Cody Rhodes and World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk celebrating with him inside the ring, placing their respective titles on Cena's shoulders. Two world champions putting their titles on John Cena's shoulders. Not as a show of dominance. Not as a passing of the torch ceremony. But as a gesture of pure respect. This is what you built, John. This is what you made possible. We're standing here as champions because you paved the way. The symbolism of that moment is overwhelming. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, two men who left WWE and came back changed, stronger, better. Two men who are now at the top of the mountain. And they're honoring the man who held that mountain steady for over 2 decades. They're saying thank you not just for the matches, not just for the moments, but for the foundation. For the stability. For showing them what it meant to be the guy. But let's get back to that smile. That controversial, beautiful, heartbreaking smile. Because this is where John Cena really opens up and gets vulnerable in a way we've never seen before. He explained to Cody what was going through his mind in those final moments. All of us have experienced loss, and when facing it, people struggle and struggle and struggle. That's what Cena was portraying. The natural progression of someone facing their end. The fight. The resistance. The inevitable acceptance. He learned something crucial a long time ago. Once you put your art out there, it is no longer yours, and what he was thinking when he painted that picture might not even matter all that much now that it's subject to overwhelming public conversation. That's the mark of a true artist. Understanding that interpretation belongs to the audience. Your job is to present the canvas. Their job is to find meaning in it. And even if they don't get it, even if they completely misunderstand what you were trying to say, that's okay too. 9 times out of 10, the audience doesn't even need to get what the artist was thinking. The art speaks for itself. Some people got it immediately. They saw the beauty in the ending. They understood the narrative Cena was weaving. Others are still struggling with it. Still angry that their hero gave up. Still processing what it means. And John Cena is at peace with all of it. Because he told his story. He painted his picture. He gave everything he had to give, and then he let go. The way Obi-Wan let go. The way all legends eventually have to let go. There's another layer to this story that's absolutely fascinating. Cena and Rhodes reminisced about the Dirty 30, a term referring to a case of beer consumed by the roster after shows in previous eras, and while Cena admitted he brought back the tradition of a road cooler for his farewell tour, he cautioned against romanticizing the arduous travel schedules and hazing aspects of the past. This is important. This is Cena acknowledging the past while also protecting the future. Yes, there were good times in the old days. Yes, there was camaraderie. But there was also toxicity. There was also pain. And the current generation doesn't need to repeat those mistakes to be successful. Cena emphasized to the locker room after his final match that the current generation has the metrics, such as sellouts and revenue, to prove their success surpasses previous eras. This is a veteran protecting the young talent from the gatekeepers, from the people who will tell them they're not as good as the Attitude Era, that they're not as tough as the wrestlers from the 80s and 90s. Cena is saying no. You're better. You're selling out buildings. You're making money. You're succeeding in ways we never did. Own that. Be proud of that. That's leadership. That's legacy. That's John Cena understanding that his job wasn't just to be great, it was to make sure the people who came after him could be even greater. He could have left bitter. He could have spent his final year burying the current product and talking about how much better things used to be. Instead, he used every moment to elevate, to teach, to inspire, to take risks that would show the next generation that it's okay to fail as long as you're failing while trying something brave. Think about the entire year. The heel turn, the championship win, the eventual face turn on the SmackDown before SummerSlam, dropping the belt back to Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam and the Night 2 main event. Every step was calculated, every moment was part of the story, and it all led to that final night at Saturday night's main event, to that sleeper hold, to that smile, to that tap out, to John Cena walking away from professional wrestling forever. The image of him showing off those championship titles on his shoulders one last time before leaving that ring will haunt me forever, in the best possible way, because it was perfect. It was closure. It was a man who gave everything knowing that he left nothing unsaid, nothing undone, nothing unfinished. He told his complete story from beginning to end, and the ending was just as important as everything that came before it. You know what makes me emotional about all of this? It's not just the career. It's not just the matches and the titles and the moments. It's what those things represented. For 23 years, John Cena was a constant. He was the guy you could count on. Through roster changes, through company changes, through the industry evolving and transforming around him, Cena was there. Steady. Reliable. Working harder than anyone else. And now he's gone from active competition. The ring will keep turning without him. New stars will rise. New legends will be made. But there will never be another John Cena. Before we wrap this up, I want you to do something for me one more time. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let YouTube know that stories like this matter. That real emotion matters. That professional wrestling, when done right, is the most powerful form of storytelling on the planet. Share this video everywhere. The SLAMZONE family is growing, and we need you to be part of it. Comment below with your thoughts. Tell me if that tap out bothered you or if you understood it. Tell me what John Cena meant to you. This is a conversation, and I want to hear your voice in it. As we close out this incredible story, I keep coming back to one thing. That smile. That peaceful, accepting, beautiful smile. In a business built on never giving up, on fighting until you can't fight anymore, on refusing to quit no matter what, John Cena taught us one final lesson. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is know when to let go. Sometimes the strongest move is acceptance. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is to walk away with grace and dignity, knowing you gave everything and it was enough. John Cena didn't just retire from WWE. He completed one of the greatest stories ever told in professional wrestling. From the doctor of thugonomics to the face of the company. From never give up to the peaceful acceptance of an ending. From 23 years of hustle, loyalty, and respect to that final smile and Gunther's sleeper hold. It was perfect. It was poetic. It was John Cena. The legend is complete. The story is told. The shoes and armbands sit in that ring as a reminder of what was and what will never be again. And somewhere, John Cena is at peace with all of it. He faced his ending the way he lived his career. With courage. With artistry. With that unshakable belief that the story matters more than the outcome. This is SLAMZONE, and this was the story of how John Cena said goodbye. Thank you for being here. Thank you for feeling this with me. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Share this everywhere. And remember, in the end, we're all just trying to tell our story the best way we know how. John Cena told his, and it was beautiful. See you in the next one, SLAMZONE family. And never forget what we learned from the greatest who ever do it. Sometimes giving up, when done with grace and purpose, is the bravest thing you can do.